Hello, Anna. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How are you today? I do a little bit apology for a few minutes late. We were on conversation. So, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's live webinar. As usual, me and Anna are co-hosting our ND Business Club live webinar today, and we're going to be talking today more about access to work and all other resources. So, Anna, yes, we were on call last 1 hour. So you've been giving me lots of information regarding how I can um, uh, write to my son's DLA. So uh, thank you for that. And please, if you could introduce yourself to the audience.
So, I'm Anna Bravington. I'm Innovation Director at Oxford Innovation Space. I also run my own business, Those That Dare, which does business and marketing strategy. Also launched a new service last week, which was helping STEM business owners with all the aspects of their business. Lovely. My first membership service. So that was the exciting thing to learn how to do. And obviously, as an ADHD person, the launch was as chaotic as could be expected. Unfortunately, I would say to Dr. Shah that I envy his organisation skills.
But it was great, Anna. The way you manage everything and launch it to the people, first time people. I think that will support many organizations. They wanted to grow, and as a growth mindset you have, and understanding technology, marketing, business development all together. That's you need nowadays, isn't it? So you have every puzzle pieces.
Yeah, well, that's the reason I did the membership, because you can get like marketing for startups and different areas, and I just wanted to offer. It's almost the first stage where you can do a little bit of everything. It's a bit of sort of funding, finance, before they sort of maybe move on to someone like yourself, Dr. Shah, which you can go deep into the marketing. It's about giving people that holistic overview so they kind of understand all the moving components of a business. How do I manage people? How do I do a bit of this? How do I do a bit of that, to give them those foundations so that they can sort of just understand how a business operates and how it works, and hopefully grow it. Fingers crossed.
It is because you've been working a long time now, I think more than 25 years. For me, similar. As most of the audience, if you're watching this live webinar, we have similar, I would say, way of working and education and others. And I have understood digital marketing very well, software development, business development, and I also have similar track records working with all of those sections. But we have learned and gain experience, expertise with a long time, and nowadays, and we know that when you learn from other people, learn from working with experience and expertise, it takes longer time. But if you wanted to really contribute to business, then one is like DIY, so do it yourself, like we did when we started. We didn't have enough fund, and as well as all those things didn't match that much well. But those people, they wanted to start, like, okay, they wanted to start from the first day. Okay, they wanted results on the second day or third day. Similar, like that way, they need expertise like your brain, my brain, and other people they have in this field, because nowadays when people think about it, it's a lot of things you need to cross over, because you need to understand the technology, you need to understand business development, marketing, AI, legislation, so on. And if you're an intelligent person, then what do you do? It's millions of things. So we have that answer. So that's why ND Business Club carries Anna's organizations and my organization. So we are working together to support you to get to your next dream. But if you wanted to do DIY, that's okay. That's a good start. You can also find something. If you check Anna's social profile and my social profile, because we are devoted to support neurodivergent people. So that's why we have our program today. access to work. It is great that we are talking about it. People, they don't know, they don't understand how access to work can support them. Maybe access to work will be very envy to us, that okay, we are encouraging more successful cases for them because they need to invest the money. But otherwise, we have many successful cases. We are working together, and we're going to be talking access to work specifically and other funding opportunities that every neurodivergent, disabled person, less able person, and anything that you need help with.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's I think you don't know the what's available to you, do you? That's the thing. I must admit, until about a year and a half ago, I'd never heard of access to work. I'd never seen it anywhere. I'd never seen it as an opportunity. And a random conversation I had with a lady who has ADHD who went through access to work put me onto it. I actually didn't go through access to work on my own. She recommended an agency to me called This Is Me Agency, who will apply on your behalf, and they will help you at every stage of the process through applying for access to work. And they don't charge for this. I'm guessing they get their funding through the government or some way. They were absolutely brilliant because it's interesting. I was thinking about our conversation earlier when Dr. Shah, when we were talking about DLA and the form for DLA. Access to work is equally as painful. I mean, for someone who, is neurodivergent, if you've got a cognitive disability, or just if you're just in pain all the time and you have to fill out all this paperwork, go on all these calls, it's almost inaccessible. And it makes it incredibly hard that even when you find out where to get this help, that actually you almost can't get it because it's too difficult to get. I mean, I don't know what I'd have done without This Is Me Agency. It was, I mean, to the point, actually, we ended up having to put a complaint in because it was so bad, even through them, because it was difficult. And I think there is this problem at the moment with people. There is this stuff out there and it's inaccessible to the people who need it, which is incredibly difficult. We said we're going through DLA, and I said, Dr. Shah, I had to do so much research to understand how the wording and how it worked. It took me 3 months to fill out the DLA application for my son. And I almost gave up several times. So, it's incredibly difficult. I think we've got some comments there. So can you say that again for the free service agency you apply? So This Is Me Agency. They were very good. So I highly recommend them, and they were brilliant. And they help you afterwards as well, because I got some physical support of a VA and a coach as well, and they help you find the person. Oh, every step, it's brilliant. It was like having a Dr. Shah in your pocket. They were organized and helped me every step.
Yeah. So thank you, Colin. Please DM me. We can talk if you wanted to know anything about technology and so on. So you can go see my profile already. So for Tanya, we also support access to work application as well. So from NBC, you probably know that we have Neurodivergent Business Consortium. And from that consortium, we support individuals to get you successful cases. And one thing, Anna, I realized, when people apply for access to work, they don't see the the technicality of it. Why I'm taking it technical? Because these government organizations, they have all tick boxes. Okay, they have to tick every boxes to give you the fund. And sometimes some people think that okay, they ticked all the boxes, but they are not, because that way they refuse to give you DLA or access to work or PIP. So that way, when we have a special form that we created for to apply for access to work. Two things that we do is like talking to you, understand your needs. And when people work, they don't understand what really they require for their work adjustment, reasonable adjustment on a lot of other things. They think, okay, this is very expensive. Will access to work support you? this is that, and all of muddled together. So what we do, I'm preparing for 3-4 cases right now. Is like, okay, talking to them individually, who they are, and one thing, I will remind the audience that you need to disclose everything, because without disclosing your disability, no one can assess you properly. So disclose your disability, and based on that, we will assess that what we can get you supported from the access to work. And a detail, it's not like 1 or 2 days work, it takes few weeks, even a few months to get to the bottom, and then apply for it in a way you will definitely get it. Why? Because it's all fulfilling their tick boxes and your requirements. Because sometimes we don't understand that, okay, we can do this work. That means you can do, but you know, Anna, when we're talking about like, okay, you can do, but sometimes, not all the time, so you can't do. So this is small thinking will get you out there. So Anna, we just wanted to discuss more about it. So we have many messages here. Jonathan, thank you very much. You have shared some link here. And Tanya, thank you. If you wanted to ask us any question, feel free to ask us. And calling, yes, we will speak. But if you wanted to ask us any question today for access to work or other things that we're going to be discussing today, feel free to ask us in the comment box. And thank you everyone for watching this live webinar. It will be recorded and you can recap it later. So Anna, I will share my success stories. Can you please share your end-to-end process that you've been through for the access to work? Like how easy it was or how difficult it was?
Yeah, I've just noticed that Tanya's asked, do you have to have a diagnosis to apply for access to work? And that's one thing I was going to mention. You don't. So not for a lot of things. So particularly neurodiversity, they will go on your traits rather than a diagnosis. For myself, I've got multiple conditions. So I have ADHD, which was undiagnosed. I'm still going through the diagnosis process. As anyone will know, the diagnosis process is long because of the waiting list. So, you know, you can't always wait for the diagnosis, but I also have fibromyalgia and hypermobility. So I managed to get in one application help for all of those. And the process, you know, all of these, it's very form filling. There's quite some long forms that you have to fill in, asking you about your condition, how it affects your day-to-day life. It's worth taking time, like Dr. Shah said, either having a call with someone or if you're doing it on your own, taking your time. Don't just fill it all in one go. You know, I do it over a few weeks because you'll suddenly remember things that you do that maybe the average person doesn't do. You know, this perceived middle ground person that probably doesn't exist, that the government's person, you know, that doesn't do, you know, you do something differently. You know, it can be, you know, just because, you know, if you're successful, just because you're successful doesn't mean that you don't need help. You know, people would look at my career and think, oh, she looks reasonably successful. You know, I was reasonably successful at school. What they didn't see was me not going to sleep from, you know, doing projects all night because I couldn't organize myself well enough to do them. You know, even, you know, this year I did an all-nighter where I had to finish a project, which makes me feel incredibly ill the next day because I'm 45 years old now and I can't do it. When I was at uni, I managed to do it a lot easier. You know, and with ADHD and fibro, those don't work together. You know, if I'm doing all-nighter, I have a fibro flare for a week. And so you need different areas of help, and the different areas of help they give, they can be sort of physical help. So things like ergonomic chairs, wrist rests, things for, you know, physically around you. They can be software that they can help you with. So things like dragon dictation, mind mapping software, you know, all sorts of different areas that they can help with you. And then they can help you with people support as well, so VAs and coaches. So they're very broad on how they can help, and they match it depending on what you need. And the one thing that I learned through the agency I went through is that sometimes you have to suggest what you might need. I found this easier. So, you know, if you go through something like Neurodiverse Business Consortium or this Me agency, I didn't really know what I needed. So actually having someone to tell me maybe what I needed, they said, oh, there's this really great software that could do this and that, or you could make voice notes, or you could do, it reads the screen for you. So as ADHD, I struggle to concentrate on big swathes of text, and also as fibro, sitting up, you know, if I can move around, if I can listen, if I can get the screen to read me, I can walk around and I can listen to it and it goes in better because I've got movement going. So that they suggested all these things. I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. That's brilliant. You know, so it was fantastic. You know, mind mapping software, I'd not even thought that would be helpful, but they said, you know, with ADHD and fibro, it helps because you can get your thoughts down. So there's some really, really useful stuff that helps. I have a coach that helps me with, we're going through at the moment ADHD techniques. In fact, she was the one that suggested, that was my random conversation. I'd met her and she suggested I go for Access to Work. So it all sort of came round again, and she's now my coach through This Is Me agency. So it's really interesting. But the process, even with an agency helping me, was incredibly difficult, because you have to, even if you're talking to someone, you've got to remember what you're like and try and unpick, particularly as an adult, what's you and what's the condition? What is this condition and what is, because I didn't know what normal was. If you know, what does the average person experience? I thought maybe everyone experiences this. And then, you know, through talking to people, I realized that they didn't. So I'm trying to unpick what is it other people feel, and what is it that I do different, and why is my life feel like it's quite hard? And for things like the fibro, that was a bit easier, because I get the joint pain, I get the fibro fog. It's quite well documented, a lot of the stuff that I found that easier. And hypermobility, I've had that, and I knew about that for a long time. So I found those easier. But the ADHD side, because I'm 45 and I only found out that I probably have it about 2-3 years ago, I had to suddenly unpick my personality almost to work out what was me and what was ADHD, and where I needed this help and what was different. So you may find you start going with a self-analysis process, which makes it a bit more difficult. So I started picking out, you know, things like going back to my childhood. Is that why everyone at university did their assignments and started them almost straight away? And I did mine, started them at midnight the night before it was due in. And I was running to the office to hand it in, because and no one else was, because they'd handed theirs in earlier than day, because they were all organized. So it was just all these like little bits you're trying to pull out of, that's why that my life has been more difficult. That must be a trait, and sort of reading up on ADHD and working out what the, you know, what these sort of traits were. And then talking it through, like Dr. Shah said, we would talk it through with the agency and work out. And then we'd sort of slowly come to this picture of, this is maybe what a average person experiences. And then, okay, so these are the bits here that I experience, but it's not quick. You have to, it's not just a quick fill in the form. You probably have to unpick it, unless you know yourself and your ADHD or your autism very well. And then there's lots of form fillings. There's some calls that you have to have. So you have an initial call, and you sort of talk through. You can have an advocate on the call. So, you know, I don't know if you've probably, some of you guys might have been advocates. The agency was on as a call, and on the call, and we they helped me remember, because that's the other thing. If you're on a call with Access to Work, you can't always remember. You know, I particularly, when I'm struggling, I was, they were saying, oh, tell us about what you filled in the form. I couldn't even remember what I'd filled in the form, because I was feeling overwhelmed. I was struggling. So the agency helped me sort of remember, oh, do you remember this? Oh, and then I'd be able to go into it and get some help, because that's the thing, even on a call, you know, if you're under stress and you're trying to answer questions, even with the page in front of me, I couldn't remember where it was in the paper. I couldn't even remember my name almost, because I was panicking, because, you know, and you know, a lot of people in neurodiversity struggle under stress and those overwhelming situations, particularly when someone very official on the other side. So then we went through the first call, and then we had a follow-up call a bit later on where we talked about, so they'd sort of assessed and thought, oh yeah, probably need some help. And then we had a second call, which was about what help I would need, sort of more detail about the equipment and the software. So once again, that was really helpful having someone on the call with me, because they sort of could talk through the different equipment and why that I needed it, and I could just chip in when I could. So that made it less overwhelming. But it was, even still, they'd ask me questions and I'd just look at them completely blankly. But I mean, that's probably good in some ways. It kind of reflects what you're trying to tell them, that even on a basic phone call, you struggle sometimes. So, and then after that, you get sort of an award eventually. But we had real struggles with mine. The agency had to actually do an official complaint because there was timelines, and they'd gone past their timelines quite spectacularly. And I must admit, the chap, when my agency phoned up, and they were listed as my sort of advocate, so they were allowed to speak to them, was very rude. So they actually had to do an official complaint. So I don't want to put you off, but I want to be realistic that this is a hard process, but do it at the same time. Do it, because it's been absolutely life-changing for me. I have a coach who I've been working with. I've got a VA who does a few hours a week with me to help me day to day on my support, and it's been absolutely amazing. I would not have launched, because I've been working on my launch for 2 years, and she's been in place about 8 months, and 2 years I was kind of doing this, and then the 8 months suddenly I actually started to get stuff done. So it's been life-changing. For my fibre and my hypermobility, I got an ergonomic chair which is heated. For anyone's got fibro and knows how cold you get, it's absolute lifesaver. And some brilliant software like Dragon Dictation and that to help me day to day. And even not just having the software, knowing some of this software exists has been a life-changing for me. So it's been good going through it. But if you can get an advocate, do it, because it's worth it, definitely.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you for sharing your experience and struggles and success. So, when we apply for access to work or DLA or PIP or anything else, due to my brain surgery and long disability, as well as being autistic and dyslexic, I had something while I was a student. So I was receiving disabled student allowances. So I knew the process very well, that okay, what you can get and how you can get. So last I would say 15 years after I had my brain tumor surgery in 2009. So from 2009 to 2025, it's been 16 years. So I have been through every stages, but still, when you do for yourself, it's very difficult, because you cannot imagine your boundaries. You cannot imagine what support actually can get you working very comfortably. So all of those experiences in working with people. So now my work with NBC Neurodivergent Business Consortium supporting individuals. So with the methodology that my successful cases and other people that I work with, it's not like when people think, okay, and that access to work, they will not pay you directly. That's another thing that, okay, why? Because sometimes people do misuse those money. They will not buy things, and they will say they will buy things. So it has to come through with a reputable or recognized agency. So they will pay them, and those agency will reinstate your services or reinstate your software or equipments or whatever you want. So that's another thing. And you need to be very truthful. As an academic myself, you have to be ethical. That's I would say. Because yes, you need help, but you need specific help to support you, to aid you to grow and sustain. And you also need to remember that this help is not like entirely for your entire entity. It's for limited periods as well. Sometimes they will stop it, to reapply, and you have to have all the things to support support your work. Maybe they will give you 2 years, 3 years, and it can go up to 5 years. But you have to go continual process. Like, okay, you were there and you are achieving your goals. And another thing, please remember that you have to have a earning threshold as well. Sometimes some people, they will say, okay, maybe they are not earning that much. Yes, they will support you, but you need to also fulfill the threshold of access to work. Like, okay, you need to earn, it was 6,500, now maybe it was 7,500 per year. You have to earn that money. It might change because the new government and other things, they might have, will lift the earning threshold. Either you work for as a self-employed or you working for any company. You have to meet those things. It's all, as I said, it's all tick boxes. And some of the things you cannot do, some of the things you can do. Because I have seen many agencies, they will support you with different kind of things. So those different kind of things are internally created. So access to work will only support you with like virtual assistant or a specialist mentor that you have is a specific elements. But when we work with people, we tailor our methodology in a way that we support with virtual assistant, and as well as we tailor methodology. Okay, someone needs social media post writing, so that can be one of the things. Okay, we are preparing and helping you to write a content, or paraphrasing something, or booking your meeting, or do something else that you are tailored to do, or maybe a training for your technology. Like, okay, you don't understand the technology, so we prepare a training for you, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 sessions that to understand the technology. So there are different layers and different things that you need to understand. And if you do not follow those things, then you will not be successful. Because I have seen people, they try to do it themselves, and at the end, they could not succeed with their application. And you have to wait until 6 months. If you fail in one go, you cannot do on the next day, like, okay, you're going to do another one. You have to wait certain times, and then you can make the second application. And few things you also need to remember, that you have to be over 16. That's one thing. Over 16. You have to have a disability, mental health problem, or anything else that will affect you from working. So it is all related to work. Either you are returning to work, or you're going to be starting a work, or you are in work. So you have to be in work with the capacity. That's one thing. And 6 months. So you're going to be returning to work in 6 months, or you are working and you need this capacity. Another thing you need to understand, that you have to be based in England and Wales if we wanted to apply for DLA. If you are in Northern Ireland, that's different issue. That's different thing. So we're not going to touch that. We're just going to touch England and Wales things. And there isn't any formal diagnosis you need. Sometimes I have few diagnoses due to my disabilities and other things. My autism is not diagnosed, but I know that I'm autistic because my son was diagnosed, and then I realized, okay, is the thing that I have is gone through genetically to my son. So these are the things you need to understand before you apply, and as well as creating your ideal persona, as Anna was talking about it. So when we work with individual person, like if I'm working with any of you, we're going to be creating ideal persona. Like, okay, you are, if I'm giving an example, please excuse me for that, like Tanya or Colin. So we need to create an ideal persona, like, oh, this is Colin, because every person is different. Neurodivergent person or any neurotypical person, everyone is different. So you need to create an ideal persona, like, okay, this is Colin or this is Tanya, and their specific needs, their struggles, what they are good at, what they are bad at, and how can do these things, and how they can't do those things, what things can be tailored to them. And please also remember, they can aid you up to 62,000 pounds. So it's a huge amount they can aid you, but it's a continuous gradual process. You have to fail all these things yourself, and then create a very strong cases to aid you. And as I said, these aids is for you to work. So if you are getting money, and another thing I would also add here, sometimes some people, they are in universal credit or benefits. So if you are in work, that will also will affect your benefits. Yeah. So you have to also understand that one way they will give it to you, other way they will take it from you. So it's not like that they're giving you anything free. It's just like they are giving you from one pot of money to another pot, isn't it? So it's just like chicken and egg. So but as I don't care that I'm disabled, but I care I'm creating knowledge. I care I'm working. So it doesn't matter. I'm not in benefits. So this is the best option for me to apply for DLA or access to work or PEEP or all other things. That is my rights. That's another thing you have to understand. Rights, your rights. You can get it. And if there are gatekeepers on access to work, it would be because they wanted to prevent you to having these things, because if you're not properly assessed, but this is your rights. So if you prepare and plan well, you will definitely get these benefits. Anna, I'm just taking a long time to give all of those information.
No, it's really good. Am I right in thinking that if you own your own company and you work for another company, that you can claim access to work for both? I believe you can. It depends on the hours you work for both, I think.
You can, but it depends. Better to go for the self-employed path. Okay. Self-employed path is better. Why? They will only assess one company. When you add, I tried, when I apply my one, I tried because I was working under university and I had my limited company and self-employed. So it's like a hurdle over there. Like, okay, they will not give, they will not aid you the money for the agency you wanted to work for. They will aid you the money for the business that you are work for. So, and you know that access to work, they also wanted to save money. So, so when there is a university or there is a business, so there is a proportionate option there as well. So if a business, they have different type of employees, like 20 plus or 50 plus employees, their turnover is this much, so they will get 10% to 20%, so they will reduce your benefits that way. So there is also a struggle over there. So when I applied, they said, okay, now you need to apply under your university as an academic over there. We will talk to them. And I know if they go to the university and those routes, is going to be very difficult for me to maintain. And I don't want it to really acknowledge all my disabilities to the university. Why? Because there are people out there, they will undermine your disability. They will say, they will pick on those things. So that's another problem. But if you do not have any option that, okay, you are working with a company, we also deal with those things as well, like, okay, properly assessed and properly managed, and then prepare your case, and then talk to the authority if is access to work or if is your company, it doesn't matter. But the best way is to limited company. So you need to have a self-employed, so you must need a UTR. They will not pay you without UTR. So you have to have a UTR. Doesn't matter you work for limited company or you work for self-employed or you work for a big organization. You have to have a UTR, and based on the UTR, they will give you the awarding. And those awarding, they will award you. It will not directly come to you. It will go to the agency that you are working for, and they will reinstate all the facilities. And if you are working for a big organization, it will go to the organization and they will reinstate all of your support and everything. So it's better that you understand what you wanted to do, but gradually talk to someone. Anna is there, I am there, and she also referred her agency as well. So you can pick and choose which one you go for. But as I said, before you go to someone, understand what actually you need. Talk to someone. We also support people without pay. It's free because we get paid from the access to work after successful completion. So if the case is not successful, we don't get paid. So when we work for individuals, if we're successful, they pay us a little bit of charges for preparing those cases, so we can apply for that. But if it's not successful, then we don't get any money. So we consider to prepare each cases in a way that it gets successful, because that will enable us to have a pot of money for individuals to support them end to end. Anna.
Yeah, definitely. I just noticed that Tanya's asked whether Access to Help works with college or university courses. Not from my knowledge. I think it can help you with travel to if it's an employment-related course that's going to help. I think they can help with things like travel costs and specialist equipment, as long as you're employed and doing the course. But from my perspective, I think they often do, like you said, training to how to use some of the equipment that you've got and things like that, but not for like tuition fees or college course fees from memory. I don't know if that's right, Dr. Shah.
So, when you do student finance England, if you are a permanent resident, I would say, of the United Kingdom, and or a citizen of United Kingdom, you can apply for the student finance England. So they will pay you for your course, if that is a graduation, master's degree, or a qualified diploma. So they will pay for that. And on that, you can also apply for DSA, Disabled Student Allowances. So this DSA will support you, as you said, with the going to the course, and if you need any agronomic equipments, softwares, and a lot of other things. It's similar to Access to Work, but that's defined only for the students. So Access to Work is only for people they are working. And you might say, okay, if I am on Access to Work, and if I wanted to ask a DSA, will I get it? You might, or you might not, depends what proportionate of the situation you are in. So if you are on a student basis, full-time students, and you also work part-time as a self-employed, you might be eligible for both of those two things. Like, okay, you're doing your course and doing your work together. So you need to, as I said, you need to prepare your cases, which one you wanted to go for, or if you can have both. And this all will come with the Department of Work and Pensions. They are all interlinked. So if you are thinking, okay, I'm going to having these and that, you might not have they might not accept double benefits, because you cannot have double benefits. You can only have single benefits. But as I said, it depends case by case. So if your cases are that stronger that, okay, you need both of the benefits to work through, you might be eligible. But it's just like case by cases. We cannot say it right now. We need to see and understand. I joined late. Is there any? Okay, sorry, Sue. You said sorry. I joined late. Is there age limit? No, I don't think so. There is an age limit. I'm applying for someone with me. I'm supporting that the one of my clients. He's 75. He is retired, but he's doing his work. So there isn't any age limits on their website, but you have to be 16 and over. So 16 and over, if your brain is working and you want to get support and you are contributing to the economy and treasury, so you are eligible. But I haven't applied for the 75 years plus people previously. So if I apply, then I would know how they react. Like, okay, if the person is doing business that's 75 plus, and he might do another 10 years. So, and he has specific needs to grow this business and contribute to the economy. So that way, I think it will work, because they will see how you're contributing. And as I said, the threshold. Thank you, Sue. If you need any further information, please feel free to reach me or Anna. We'll be more than happy to signpost you. If we cannot work with you, we will signpost you to the relevant people, because it's not a very big community. It's a very small community. So everyone knows everyone in this space of neurodiversity, access to work, and a lot of other things. So that will be great help if we can signpost you to some of the other external organizations that you require help.
Yeah. And I know, because you were saying about it's up to 16, you know, below 16, we were talking about DLA earlier. So, you know, if you've got a child under 16, there's things, it's not work related, it's you know, just disability related. You've got DLA that you can apply for to give them some support, and you know, that money can then use to finance equipment that they've used. I've just this year I applied for DLA for my son, and I couldn't actually find an agency similar to This Is Me to help me, so I had to do it on my own. Oh goodness, took me months to fill it out, months. And now I still look back and there's bits I've missed out, but you know, we got him some help, so it means that we can buy him some specialist equipment because my son's autistic. And at school he already has a quite a strong EHCP with full-time one-to-one, so we got it as support for home. Because it's funny, actually, you don't think about all the extra things that you purchase or you do. For example, my son can't really stay overnight for school trips, so I ended up booking a hotel, staying with him in the hotel, you know, driving him miles away, so sort of taking the day off work, and then he went to this thing and for the day, and we had a wonderful time, you know. But to facilitate that, I had to spend a lot more money than a child that you know, that didn't have autism. You know, it just cost me a lot more money. So things like DLA can then help support those extra things like my son hasn't got very good balance, so I'm looking to get him a more supportive trike, you know. And whereas a normal bike you can get for £85, these trikes start at about £400. So there's all this equipment that you can get for children under 16 that you can get some help with, and there's different levels of care and help. I don't know, Tanya says, does a child have to be diagnosed to apply for DLA support? Not from what I know. Because my son wasn't diagnosed when we got his EHCP. It was based on traits and difficulties that he was having. And I believe the same is for DLA. The thing with DLA and EHCPs, it's just evidence. So it's not necessarily a diagnosis evidence, it's evidence from school. You know, we had educational psychologist reports, we had outreach reports, we had school reports, we had loads and loads of reports. So it's more about evidence of this person struggling struggling through the world and day to day, and how something might help if they got specialist equipment or help. So it does ask you, in what way do you think your child could be helped? So from memory, I don't think you have to be diagnosed. It's just more the more evidence the better. But I have seen people apply for DLA and get it with just some, you know, just a few small reports, whereas ours, I actually had to get an envelope that expanded because we had so much information on the difficulties my son's had. So they aren't always, because I think they also know that some of these diagnosis pathways are long. It took my son 2.5 years to get diagnosed. I'm on the pathway for ADHD, and I've already been on it for quite a while, and it will be a long time. And so they know that actually people need help before that. So as long as you've got something that indicates that you need help and it's from some external source, it generally helps.
I totally agree with you, Anna, because my son diagnosis was very quick. So he was picked up when he was starting his year 2. Okay, so year 2 they picked up. It took 3 years though, but you know, year 2 you don't really realize that your son or your children, they might have something related to that. But you know, I understood my capacity from childhood. I was very odd child, very introverted. People, they see me now, they will be laugh out loud that, okay, who I am seeing it now. I was very introverted, and like hiding under sofa, under table, behind my mom. I wasn't a people person at all. So I was like all the time, I had my own world, sitting with that, playing with myself, doing everything by myself. I don't need anyone because I have my own world. And I could see the same thing with my son. He is like, sometimes he was like very introverted. He doesn't want to do anything, and sometimes he will like extroverted. Like, okay, he will go somewhere, and he will just he will just talk to people, and sometimes people, they don't like it. It's like irritation for them. Okay, why he's talking too much with us? Because he doesn't know us. So this kind of behavior, and then the school, they picked up, because some of the things he's very bad, like as we talk about personal needs and all other things, going to the toilet and coming from the toilets and queuing and pushing him. So these are the things. So it was picked up early. But as I said, you do not need to worry about if it's diagnosed or if it's not. But the most thing you need to be worried about is to prepare use cases properly. That's the thing that you should do. I haven't applied for my son DLA. I could do millions of things and work like a lightning to other things. But when I go back to the form, it's 1 year, I could not fill it up because it overwhelmed me. And today I had a very long session with Anna, and I understood it very well for the DLA. And hopefully I will give, because whenever I got something in my brain, I create a framework. So I will create a framework to finalize the DLA and PIP. So if any of you wants that, I can share with you. But when I finalize my application for DLA, but apart from that, if access to work or disability student allowances, if you need any support on that, I have my framework already done, and I'm supporting individuals with that, because it's not like supporting an entity. It's like supporting someone to get you better, to get you to the next stage, because then you can support other person. So that's why I think when we started the ND Business Consortium, we thought the similar thing. Anna and me, it just clicked on the first day that I went to the Ferrum Innovation Center. We talk about it, and we have lots of common similarities about ideas and a lot of other things. So we thought that, okay, it's better that we can support individuals. It's not always money. It's just like we wanted to support. So if you are looking to get support, please feel free to DM us directly. You will get our DM us on the LinkedIn and any other social media. And all the audience, you are watching this webinar, please feel free to refer our ND Business Consortium, NBC, to the people that you know. It can really help. It can really help, because when I got my ATW, we call it Access to Work, ATW, it's really helped me. Yes. Sometimes some people say, okay, they are earning a lot of money. It doesn't matter if you're earning a lot of money. Sometimes some people say they are very clever. It doesn't matter. You are very clever. I'm very clever. I'm very knowledgeable. But special needs, what I need help with, and you're clever and your money is different things. And sometimes we fail to understand. Anna, what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's about leveling that playing field. They say equity, isn't it? That, despite being clever, when you look back at when I was at school, I compensated for ADHD by being very clever. I don't feel as clever now, but when I was younger, I picked things up in an instant. So I could compensate for actually having a very short attention span, because I just picked things up quickly, so I could pick it up and then go and do whatever I wanted. You don't have to. And this is the thing, I think, even if you're successful, how much more difficult has it been to be successful than it maybe would for the average person? For me, it's launching my company, my new service. That was inherently much more difficult than I know several people have launched new services who found it very easy, and how it was incredibly difficult for me to organize myself, to stop getting distracted by things. I couldn't focus. I got overwhelmed, and it was an uphill struggle. So every night that I've spent awake doing stuff, when maybe an average person may have not done that and actually had some sleep, because they could organize themselves properly and they could get themselves motivated and they could stop being overwhelmed, that's where I need help, because I need sleep. despite having my brain on the go all the time, I do need sleep. And so with my VA, I've been able to actually get a bit more organized. She's been wonderful. And it meant that I could, instead of doing things in the middle of the night, I'm doing them at the appropriate time when I should be doing them. It's like, whenever I'm currently in the Innovation Centre and Verma Innovation Centre, and when I'm here, I will sit here sometimes till 6, 7 o'clock, because although I've done lots of bits of work, my organization is not great, and actually I could have left on time and gone home on time and then had proper rest in the evening. And yes, I got my work done and it looks like I've had a successful day, but from a work perspective, I have. From a me rest perspective and time, no, I haven't had a successful day. But so sometimes your perception on the outside is different to what you're dealing with underneath. And then, as I have fibro as well, I start coming out with fibro flares. Like right now, all of my arms and wrists are absolutely killing me, just because they do sometimes. If I've been overdoing it pre-Christmas, it's a bit sort of wild. So then I'm in pain, and I'm having fibro flares. So, think about, yes, you have done them, but actually, could it have been easier? And could it have been, could we level that playing field so that you have the opportunities the same as everyone else for not just work, but finishing that work and getting rest and sleep as well, because work is not just about work. It's about the balance as well, which, as anyone will know that's ever worked with me, I don't have a very good work-life balance. So I just wanted to comment as well that there's a couple of other ones, you can look for is PIP, which is the new DLA for over 16s. So that's based, I don't believe you have to have a diagnosis for that either, because it's about the help you need to support you day to day rather than the condition itself. And a little known one, which I've got for my son, which is if you go out to events like museums and theme parks. So the Nimbus disability card is brilliant. So my son has it because my son can't queue. He gets very dysregulated when people are around him, and he just can't wait in line for a long time. So we use it, the Disability Nimbus card, for Legoland. They recognise it, so you can get a ride access pass. I think Portons Park for Peppa Pig World, they recognise it. Places like Tower of London, but even expos. If you're at work and you're going to lots of expos and events. So I know the Excel, I've been to events Excel, and they'll accept these Nimbus cards. It's not just for kids, it's for adults as well. So if you struggle queuing, you can get these. And there's things such as there's one where you could struggle to queue. There's one where you can't go on your own, so you need a support to get a free +1. I think there's two or three other ones as well. And I think that's about £10 to apply for that, but it's well worth it and that's just that extra bit of help that you can get that is available to you.
Yeah, similar way, Anna. I traveled with my son, and when you go to the airport, it's a very big queue, and you can tell me it's very difficult. So when I go over there, if I show the card, like, okay, we cannot wait long queues. So they will give you to the front queue, front line, and you have a specific, like if you're not first class, you can enter to the plane before anyone else. But if you have the card with you, doesn't matter, your children or for yourself, they will prioritize your entry first, because you're going to be irritating, and that one, you don't want that. So we just spent an hour talking about it, and we have many more programs talking and covering specifically. So we had I had a 1 hour with Anna today to understanding the DLA very well. So maybe in the future, although our next program are all lined up already. So to all of you, we will bring a very best next year program, and we're going to be doing some in-person events as well at the Ferrum Innovation Center. We just planned it. We're going to be signing a petition to the House of Commons as well. We are preparing for that as well, because I think, with any government, they overlook neurodivergent per person. As I said, that okay, you're very clever, you are very knowledgeable, you have lots of money, but they fail to understand that specific needs and clever or money, they are different. So it's your right to apply for this, and we will take this to the next stage. So we have planned very well for next year. We will share those in the next couple of weeks during the Christmas. So we hope that you will enjoy the Christmas very best. And I just wanted to say you, Tania, thank you very much. You can share my details to anyone that you want to, and Anna's details too as well, because we are the advocates of neurodiversity, and neurodivergent people. So, and another thing is that if we cannot do something for you, for the people, we will signpost them to the relevant organization or people that you will get help, because we know when our help was reinstated at the right time, we could do huge things to to progress our work to the different levels. And I think the way the way we work in with the ND business clubs or NVC and our commercial organizations, both Anna's and mine, we take care individuals to tailor our methodology for them. So in a way, you get something out there for your business growth, for your marketing, for your planning, and for all other things. So thank you everyone for joining today's live webinar. Anna, we need to end this conversation, but we have, I think, second week of January, we are bringing another program, and we will share that with you in the next couple of days. And you will all have a great Christmas. And you see that we have a Christmas ornaments on our background today.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, no, thank you, everyone. This is it. As Dr. Shah said, it's your right to be able to apply for these things. So please do, try to do it if you feel you need it, because I think that not everyone knows enough about these probably intentionally so that they don't spread it wide enough, that there are these services to help you, and they can feel a little bit daunting, but there is help around to be able to so that you could do it, because if I can do it, anyone can, really. So please do. And if you do need any help, I'm happy to to share further with my experiences on how I did go through all of it.
Yeah, so sorry, I just I asked someone from my team to get my details, but it was these event details. Just allow them just a couple of minutes to copy my profiles, and I will also copy Anna's profile as well. So you can specifically talk to us if you need to, and if you check these events, you will also see us on the speaker sections. You will not miss it, because it is out there. And I will just gonna ask to just give you Anna's details. Just allow us a couple of seconds to do that. But as we're going to be bringing new program, if you look into NBC page, you will see all of our programs over there. What we did previously this year, we have done huge program this year, isn't it, Anna?
Yes, yeah.
And every programs we are just running a couple of minutes more. So every program we intend to contribute a knowledge that we have in terms of technology, business development, marketing, and so on. So if you need help, specifically any of these domains, you can contact us in relation to whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm just gonna ask for the team to copy Anna's profile. So I hope you will get it in a couple of minutes time. So you have me and as profile on the comment box. And if you need any support, Neurodiversity, talk about neurodiversity, we are here. We are proud to be neurodivergent. And for that, we will get next change, isn't it, Anna?
Absolutely, absolutely. Brilliant.
So thank you, everyone. And have a great Christmas and New Year. See you next year with our great programs.
See you next year.
Thank you, and bye-bye.